Hey everybody, this is Amanda from Amanda's Budgets. I'm here to give you guys the double whammy. We've got bad news and we have okay news. As you can tell from this title, this is like a really big situation we're in. I want to start with the positives. So before we get started, let's go ahead and introduce ourselves. So if you're new to this channel, my name is Amanda. I am 34 years old. I am an all cash budgeter. I do cash stuffing, sinking funds, savings challenges, all on a low income. I also do a lot of budgeting. Imagine that, Amanda's Budgets, right? So I noticed something interesting. A lot of you guys have a hard time saying my name when you are doing challenges and stuff like that. It's literally Amanda's Budgets, because I'm doing a lot of budgeting and these are all my budgets. So to get to the nitty-gritty, we need to start with some positives. I am super excited. However, my husband ripped this open. So this came to me under the name Marshall, and he was like, who in the heck is Marshall? No last name, just Marshall. So then I saw this and he was like, what is this? And I'm like, no, this is from Reinventing Renee. I watch her channel religiously, where we have a lot of similarities. I honestly am an alarm, write it down, when in doubt, write it out, kind of person. I'm very ADHD. I can't stay on track most of the time. And the only way I've made it this far in life is because I'm a little bit impulsive about things, right? Okay, so let's make sure we have that on the table. So I got this Happy Mail. This is something I ordered from her shop a while back. I just received it and I am super excited. And this is one of the positives. So it's Nerd. And then we're going to rip this off. I'm actually going to try to save this sticker. I think I might be able to do it. Yes. I saved most of it. Oh, what? I saved all of it. I'm saving the sticker. I'm sure there's another Nerd sticker in there, but I want this one too, because I need it. Really badly need it, right? All right. So we're going to put this on something. What can we put it on? Let's see. You know what? No. I'm going to stick this on here. We're going to stick it on the inside. This is our $1 Wednesdays, and we are going to stick it to the side because I can. See? I think it looks good. All right. So this is the stickers to my challenge that I bought, along with some other stuff. And because I'm totally inept, I can't seem to open this. There we go. Good job, Amanda. You got this. It's because of these super long nails, right? We're going to blame it on that. All right. So here is the stickers. And then we have No Spend Sunday. I like that. And then we have this little Etsy challenge. I'm actually excited because I'm going to buy some more stuff from her shop. And then she has a $50 savings challenge on the back of this. And it's her little Reinventing Renee nerd card. And then she's got all these other cute stickers. Moist. Nerd turd. I love that. Then there's a regular rainbow turd, because you know I like my turds, right? And then we have a No Spend Sunday again. That's funny. Your excuses are shit. Yep, they are. And budget nerd, I'm gonna make a either A5 or A6, probably A6 envelope just for her challenges. So we've got all that stuff. Here's the stickers. However, I was watching her when she found out that there wasn't enough purples. So she sent me this, if I can get this to come up. Sorry, your stickers are short, one of these. Oh, OMG, so dumb. Heart, you nerd, Renee. I like that. I think it's so cute. When I saw this, I was like, that's the extra sticker. So these are all going to go together. This is the challenge that I printed that she gave to me. When you buy this, you get this, and then you're waiting for this stuff. So I'm excited for all of that. Thank you so much, Renee. I will be watching you do your thing on your channel. So we're going to put this stuff aside. I'm telling you right now, these Rambo poops, they're really speaking to me lately. Because things are just, I'm frustrated, we'll just say that. All right, so now that we've opened our Happy Mail, we're gonna get into the nitty gritty, because why not? We're here, we're sitting here, we're all friends, we're chit-chatting. We have our budget by paycheck method that we need to figure out how much we need for the first week of February. I almost said January. February. So let's go ahead and get into it. So remember when I told you guys that I got that job? Yeah, there was some things to that job that didn't seem to pan out. And I'm just like, okay, so it's Friday. I'm supposed to start on a Monday. I was told multiple things. You're new at this. Don't worry, we're going to train you. There's a 7-strike system that we have, and this is the things that, we expect from you day one, which is going to be orientation. We went over pay, we went over 401ks, they glorified this job, glorified it, made it really sound wantable. Okay, so it's a manufacturing job where it's supposed to be line work, but some things came up. So I was told that I would need safety glasses. Cool. Couple bucks at the hardware store, no problem. Safety gloves, no problem. I'll buy a 10-pack at the hardware store. Then I was told that I was going to be in electrical instead of assembly. Well, I have done some electrical stuff, but not a whole lot. I do have some basic knowledge on electrical because I've had to deal with it with my travel trailer, with living off grid. I've had to deal with it in this house. So I've also had to deal with it in other rentals. I also took a class in high school that dealt with basic electrical stuff. I'm like, okay, cool, no problem. Okay, so I needed specified boots to start this job. Heavy duty, rubber bottomed, steel toed boots. Okay, well, I am a women's size 6, 6.5. So finding those in a 2-day time would not mean Amazon. That would be going to a shoe store, a specialty shoe store, like a boot place. We have multiple around this area because we do have a lot of Western style stuff here. A lot of people ride horses. There's a lot of outdoor stuff. A lot of people work in construction. So I thought to myself, no problem. Then I was told about the double kneed pants. Essentially, if you've never seen them before, you've never worked construction, you don't know anybody who's worked construction, they're a pair of thick jean-like material pants, and then they have an extra layer on the knee. Why? Because I'm going to be working on top of these big metal boxes that we're working with. I'll just say boxes because I don't want to give away where this is. And I'm like, okay, no problem. But I go to the said store, and this is mid-Friday. My husband and I are like, gosh, none of these boots seem to be in your size, Amanda. So we had to go to the other place. Now, mind you, they get a 10% discount because they are huge in the area that I live in, and kind of area I live in, about 45 minutes out of where I actually live. But they wanted $219.99 for a pair of steel-toed boots. So I call the agency and I'm like, hey man, like, do I have to have these right away? Like, what do you suggest? And they're like, well, you have to have them day of orientation, the pants maybe a few days. And I'm like, okay, well, the pants were $70 and the boots were $220. I don't have that kind of money sitting around here. Even when I flipped through this, you guys, even before I put savings challenge money in here, before I finished those challenges, this is well before. This was a week and a half ago. This only had $107 in it. And I don't have any ability to just charge it or whatever. I was told that there could be a reimbursement if I stay with the company for 2 whole months of $100. And I'm like, okay. They're like, keep your receipt. So I'm sitting here thinking of all this, and then I start to think more about the job. Well, if I really wanted this job, let's make a pro-con list. As I'm going through the paperwork, I read that there's a 3-strike system and that I won't be doing the same thing all the time. Meaning that one part of the day I could be doing this job, and then the other part of the day I could be doing this job, and then we could go to break, and then I could be doing something over here. And even if I'm not trained on it, it's still marked in this 3-strike system and how they divide it out. It didn't make a lot of sense to me, but I'm like, wait a minute, I'm new at this, I've never done this before. Well, what's going on? So then I end up calling my dad. My dad's kind of my go-to. He is the only parent I have that I speak to. And I had also texted my aunt who lives in Alaska. So here's Amanda texting her aunt, talking to her dad, and they're like, well, why don't you ask questions, Amanda? Like, call the agency you work for. Why is the job open? What's the turnover rate? How do people feel about this job? Well, I come to find out by doing my own research, talking to people that I know that have worked at this company before, and from the agency, that their turnover rate is really, really high. And I asked the guy, I said, so the guy who had done my background check, who had done the paperwork, who had proved me to do the job, yada, yada. I said, okay, so how many people out of 10 do you think stay at this job? And he's like, maybe 1 or 2. But he's like, the average person stays at this job probably anywhere between a month to 3 months. And he was just honest with me. And I was like, okay, so basically anybody who walks in the door is going to get this experience. And he's like, well, yeah, because that's how they hire. They batch hire, and they may keep 1 or 2 people on of your 12-person group, and then they might move on and scrap all of you and go on to the next group. So I find out that truthfully there's only 160 people working for this company, but they're hiring people batches at a time. I don't want to work for a job like that, you guys. If I'm going to go spend $220 on boots for a specific job, and yes, I probably could have found them on Amazon, but like I said, this was a Friday and they wanted me to start that Monday. I'm like, I can't take my chance. I can't take my chance. My husband called Target, called Walmart. None of these places had shoes in my size. But it wasn't just about the shoes, you guys. It was about the overall outcome I got. I looked at Google, I looked at Yelp, I spoke to friends who I was like on social media, hey everybody, does anybody know about working at blank? Blank being the job or the place. And a lot of people were like, hey Amanda, it's going to be a quick turnover. Either they're going to like you and you're going to do well, or you're gone. So I asked a friend, I was like, would your husband suggest, because he was the one that worked there, would your husband suggest me buying these boots? And he was like, no, because what if you don't get another job specifically like that, or you don't need the boots after that job? Maybe you're there for a month and a half. So here I am looking for this long-term solution to my long-term problem, which is I don't want to work food. I don't really want to work for a crappy low wage, and I want to stay with a company long-term. But this doesn't sound like this is going to cut it for me. So I call back the agency and I'm like, do you have anything else? And he's like, well, we specifically try to hire for this particular company. I said, so, well, what happens if this doesn't work out? And he's like, I don't know. I said, so is that your solution? That's what you tell everybody? I thought you're an agency and you have a bunch of different jobs available, because that's what I was told. And he's like, no, honestly, this is what we have. And it was a take it or leave it situation. So I could be spending over $250 to start a job that I was unsure of. So that was a bummer. I was super bummed out about it. I spent the last week tearing myself down to build myself back up. So before you make any interesting or unkind comments, please understand that I am on a low income. I have to think of gas because this is a 45-minute trip one way. So that's 2 hours of driving. So gas. I have to buy specialized items to do this job, and then there's no guarantee of even 50% chance that I could make it. And my husband literally sat me down and he was like, hey Amanda, I would have applied, but I kind of figured that that's how this was gonna go, but I didn't want to break your spirits, you know, because he's always the uplifting guy. He has a hard time lifting himself up, but he is great at motivating other people to do whatever they want to do, and making it a positive experience. So we decided against the job working for me. However, the okay news is this. I found myself a job, and it's unfortunately in food, and it's unfortunately with pizza, not the company I worked for before. This is a local company, and it's going to be part-time to start while training, and then I'm going to be trained to be a shift lead. I don't want to be an assistant manager. I don't want to be a store manager. I'm done. I'll run a shift. I'll close a store. I'll count the money. However I have to do it, but I don't want to be higher up the chain. Just because I got paid a few more dollars than some of my other workers at my previous store or previous job, as a store manager or as an assistant manager, I don't believe it's all that worth it. I had to give so much of my time, you guys. Like, I don't even think you guys realized how many hours I was actually working. So my average paycheck would be 120 to 140 hours. It's a lot of time. And I moved to this manufactured home to not only make it my own, but to have stability without having to work so darn hard to scrape by. So, here's the plan. even if this job sticks to part-time, I'm still gonna gig work. My husband is looking for a job. He has decided he's going to try to get into maintenance because he likes the ins and outs of fixing things. He's a do-it kind of guy. He likes to work with his hands. So that is something that he is going to look into around our area, especially since it's getting to be spring and summer and we are a tourist area, and one of these hotels or stores or something has to have some sort of maintenance out there. So let's do our quick little budget breakdown of the necessities, the essentials. These are things that I have to pay to keep my 4 walls, my 3 hots, and my cot secured with some internet, right? So another thing we are going to be testing out is we are testing out a internet source through our phone company for our cell phones, and we are going to try it for $30 a month. If it doesn't work out for us and we stress test the crap out of it within that 30-day time, if we decide it doesn't work for us, it's going to be at a 0 charge as long as we return the equipment. But that would bring my $130 bill down to $30, which should have been $65. But, you know, with times and inflation and things. So our first payday is going to be, because I am mostly self-employed with gig work right now, I don't know when I'm going to get my first paycheck. I do start at the end of this week at this job. So we're going to say payday is February 8th. That gives me 7 days. And then the 8th we'll do the video. Okay? So we need, how much do we have in that? Let me double check. This is when in doubt you count it out, right? I know I can say that for anything. Alright, so for housing, apparently I needed to put that on my lap to take the money out because I'm special like that. We have 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. 20, 40, 60, 80, 90, 200. And then we have 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. So we need $550. So we need 300 for space rent. That is for this month, so February. And it's due on the 10th. And then we are going to take our, gosh, I can't even put money back together. Oh well. It's messed up, but I'm going to put it back, and we don't need to reorganize it right now because we're not organizing and counting money today. We're writing down what our necessities are for the first week of February. We're going to do budgeting weekly, not bi-weekly, because like I said, I don't know when I'm going to get my first paycheck. I didn't ask those things. I just wanted a job, and I was happy to get one. So car payment, if I can find my calculator. You know what? I'm just going to round. We're going to say $170 for our car payment, and this is due on the 20. Why did I write 1? 2/29. It's due on the last day of the month. Why do I do that? Because it gives me the whole month to get that bill, that big bill, figured out. Money made. Put in the bank and paid. Alright, so utilities, we're not going to worry about that right this moment. We're going to skip down to car insurance. Let's do this. Let's do our most important. So our phones are going to be $130 because that is due on $210 as well. Because my husband does half payments. He pays one half and then he pays the other half. He just does that so that way he thinks it's easier for me to budget. In a way it is, because it's $130. We're going to say we need $100 to utilities. And then car insurance, we're not going to worry about right this moment. Utilities is due on 2/23. Sorry, I'm looking at my notes as I write this. My notes are down here in a little notebooky thing. Specifically in this one, but I'm going to cover up the page because it's on this next page that I ripped out. Okay. And then internet is getting nothing. We just paid that. It should be 2 months of payment, guys. For $130, it should be 2 payments. But I'm not going to fight that right now. Okay? And then we are not going to worry about our variables. We're going to add this up. So 300 plus 170 is 370. And then 100 and 130 is 230. I can write. So 70, 80, 90, 100. So we need $600 in total. So we'll say a minimum of $600 plus. So I think that's doable. We definitely have some things coming. I have ran a sale in my Etsy shop. I actually have it going until the 1st. In my community page, there is the information on the digital sale. It's half off of all my digital items. If you're having problems with the digital code, message me on Etsy. We'll get it figured out. I've had a few people state that the code did not work for 1 or 2 items. That's okay. Just message me, say, hey Amanda, it's not working for this, this, and this, or it's working for these but not this. That way I can fix it. I don't know what Etsy did, but it did something. So we have an Etsy check coming that's pretty decent. We have gig working. I haven't allocated any more money to savings challenges for the month. I have a few days from January of gig working, and then I'm also continuing to work gig working until the 7th, and or in between jobs, or my husband will go out and do some gig working. However, he has had to spend some of his gig working money on a leak that we had in our bedroom from our roof. I don't know how it got there. And maybe I'll post the picture, but it almost looks like a tiki rod, you know, like a straw, like a bamboo straw stuck in our freaking roof. And I was like, what is that? And he's like, I have no idea. And that's the only thing I can think of is it looks exactly like that. I don't know if somebody before we owned this Jimmy rigged it up there or what, but it was just odd. It was strange. We do not have a metal roofing, so luckily we have the shingles. We were able to fix that, but it came out of his gig working money. So do what you can with what you got. Remember, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, keep an open mind, and that's it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.